Everybody knows that when it comes to hunting rifles, that you're always trying to find a balance between a gun that is reliable, that is something that is accurate, as well as something that is not going to bust your budget. You know, and in particularly something that's not going to make your wife mad at you when she hears about you spending the money on something.
You've got to be kidding me.
What? Are you okay?
I'm fine.
A struggle is always trying to find a balance between all of those elements and still get a good rifle. Rows of guns. That's what you call freedom, guys. Years ago, Ruger worked to address part of this hole in the market and came out with the American rifle. This is my Ruger American Predator. This is one of the rifles that we're going to look at today. This is the first gen as far as what Ruger had come out with, one of the older generations. I've got a full video on this rifle and this scope on my channel. But this was Ruger's reach and Ruger's response to the high cost of hunting rifles. This is a good rifle. This is one that is very accurate. This is one that was very popular in the market and still is. A lot of people will buy this gun because of that action. One of the complaints that everybody had about the original Ruger American was the stock. A lot of people thought that it is very flimsy, and you know, in many cases they are right. But at the same time, for the price that you pay for that gun, that is a stock that is easily replaceable. And in fact, there's a lot of folks that will go and buy that gun as a budget build. They'll buy that action, then they will simply put it into their own stock. They will buy an aftermarket stock or something else and have a very accurate rifle without spending a lot of money. About a year ago, Ruger came out with their second gen American rifles. This is the Ruger American Gen 2. This is chambered in 6.5 Creedmoor. You guys have seen this on the channel before, and if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe to my channel. On top here, we do have the Arcan Optics SH4J Gen 2 scope, a very good scope, linked down below. This is a rifle that Ruger came out with, and they've got it in several calibers now, and you can see some of the changes and some of the differences. Ruger heard some of the complaints about the first generation, and the newer stock is a little bit stiffer compared to the original generation stock. It also has a little bit more flare. You can see here that you do get a twist barrel. You can see the muzzle brake compared to the first generation, to where you only got a thread protector. This cheek well, where it's going to really help you to get that eye relief where you need it to be on that scope, to get your head elevated up to where you're not riding too high on that rifle when trying to make your shots. Just to show you guys, the action on this gun for a budget rifle is very smooth. Is it the best on the market? No, but at the same time, look at the price difference between this compared to some of the more expensive rifles out there. Very smooth action for what you get. It does have that 3-lug bolt on it. Just to show you guys real quick, if I can get it to come out. You can see right there how that lug looks on that rifle. It's very solid, very well made, and you know, the lockup on it is very easy, very reliable. And the trigger as well. And for the safety sallies out there, all of these guns have been safety checked prior to filming. Now, just to show you guys, just to give you a little bit better view, you can see the trigger on this gun right there. There's virtually no take up, and then when you press that shot, it just goes. Very smooth, very crisp trigger, especially for the price of this rifle. It's also adjustable. Another feature of this gun is the fact that you can lock that bolt closed. There are some folks out there that complained about when they're walking through the woods about the bolt actually drifting back on them. You know, they'd be loaded up for hunting or whatever. As they're walking through the woods, they would notice that the bolt would drift open on them. Personally, me, I've never had that issue. However, some folks have, and that's something that Ruger addressed with the way that the safety is. You can simply lock that down to that third position. That bolt is not going to open. It's going to lock that bolt closed just like that. And then, of course, when you go to your middle position, the bolt will cycle, but the trigger will not fire. Just as a comparison, guys, the action on the original rifle, I'll have to say, it is still very smooth. The second generation, in my own personal opinion, is just a little bit better. Just to show you that trigger, guys, it does have that same dongle, but when you press that trigger, there is no take up. I mean, you just hit that trigger, you build the pressure on it, and it goes. Very nice trigger. I do believe the new one is just a little bit more crisp, not by much, but slightly. But again, these triggers are all adjustable. In no way am I saying that this is a bad rifle. This is a great rifle, and as I'd mentioned earlier, a lot of people will go with the original generation Ruger simply to do a budget build. You do have just the thread protector instead of getting that muzzle brake. You know, a lot of people can go and add their own muzzle devices. You could use it with a suppressor or just whatever you wanted to do. Another change that Ruger did when it came to the second generation is the magazines. The original magazine was that round magazine that just did not work very well, and Ruger changed that to the newer style and more commonly available magazines. Here's the two magazines. The one in my right hand, which is on your left side, is the one from my original Ruger American Predator. This is a 3-round capacity magazine, and of course this magazine is the one from my Ruger American Gen 2. Much more readily available, and I think Ruger made the right choice when they changed over to this style magazine. In fact, the later generation Gen 1s actually came out with this style magazine in them. Not just the ranch models, but several of them. And I actually were able to get an upgrade kit from Ruger to change your stock over from the round magazine to the much more accessible and available standard magazine. Another consideration on both of these rifles is that they are very lightweight, easy to carry through the woods when you're hunting, and very accurate. That's one thing that you cannot deny about these rifles. They're very accurate. There's a lot of people that want to find fault with the Ruger American rifles. A lot of people talk about the barrel not being long enough. They talk about not being heavy enough or whatever, but they seem to forget what these guns were designed to be. The Ruger Americans, both generations, they were designed to be an affordable hunting rifle. There's a lot of people that think that the accuracy of these rifles are not where they should be, and I completely disagree with that. These rifles are very accurate. They're not designed for long-range shooting, but they have the capability of it. You know, you can put them in a chassis system. There's a lot of folks that do, and these guns work very well. There's actually folks out there that have used these guns as a basis to build competition rifles. Now, if you were to look at something like the Tikka T3X CTR that you can see here, the action on this gun, I'm going to have to say, is the absolute cream of the crop. Anybody that's familiar with a Tikka knows that that is one of the well-known things about these guns. But at the same time, look at the price difference between something like this compared to the Ruger Americans. The Ruger Americans, if you're going to go out and go deer hunting, if you're going to do any kind of large game hunting even, they're going to be a very good option if you're looking for a budget rifle. Yes, I know that there's different ones out there. There are several different rifles, several different manufacturers out there. But at the same time, my own personal experience with the Rugers, I don't think you could go wrong if you're just needing a good hunting rifle. They fit that bill. They fit the bill on something that's affordable, something that is lightweight, that you don't have any trouble carrying to your deer stand or whatever, and something that your wife is not going to get too mad at you when you spend the money on it, because they're much more affordable than some of the other guns out there on the market. But guys, let me hear from you. What's your thoughts on the Ruger American rifles? You know, whether it's the Predator, whether it's the Ranch, or whatever. Let me hear your thoughts on them. What's your experience with them? Have they been a good rifle? Do you own one? Have you ever shot one? I'd love to hear from you down in the comments below. Also, guys, I would appreciate it if you would go over and check out my website at boomsticktacticalgear.com. You can find it linked down below. There's also some stuff floating around here if you want to pick up some shirts, some other gun gear, and help support the channel. Guys, hope you liked the video. I would appreciate it if you would share the video, take that URL, put it into your social media, and share that video. Thanks for watching. Check out the rest of the videos on my channel, and we'll see you next time.